one. Listen, I'm on my second walk of the day. It'll be 4 miles today. A little bit over 4 miles. But I love nature. I don't know, for some reason, I want to be out in nature more than I ever have before. I get the little flyways. But I want to be out in nature more now. I just crave to be out in nature for some reason. How's everyone doing? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. But I want to come talk to the chosen one. Got an important message for you all. And I just had to come talk to y'all. Beautiful trail in the back. Is that a rainbow? Oh no, that was a rainbow. God's promise. How are you doing, chosen ones? Let me know if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know. Hello. How you doing? Good. Oh, thank you. Karen Richardson, how are you doing, dear? How are you doing? Thank you. Listen, chosen ones, I just have to come talk to you all. I come out in nature, I get my little downloads, I get like some power. I reach up in the sky and, like Wonder Woman, I reach up in the sky and get power. But listen, chosen ones, before I lose my train of thought, we have to stop lying to ourselves, chosen ones. See, one thing, and this is why I talk about healing, because as a chosen one, you're very sensitive. And sometimes we allow our emotions and our sensitivity to play tricks on us. We do. No, it's not cold. It's hot out here, B. It's hot. A little breeze going, but it's not cold. That's the overcast. But listen, we allow, and I know you do, chosen ones, because I've done it. This is why I got this download. I was just out here. Look, I'm out here in nature. It's beautiful, beautiful out here in nature, right? And I was sitting there thinking, um, listen, Rubia, you get there, dear. It takes time. You got to remember this: the healing that's required of you. It this okay. What you've gone through, right? Let me tell you this, Ruby, before I lose track on my train of thought. What you've gone through, you've been going through it since childhood. So you're not going to be healed overnight. It takes time. A true chosen one, a true chosen one has been experiencing this abuse since childhood. And you got to give yourself time to process what you have been going through. Okay? So don't rush your healing. That's why it's a healing journey. That's why I talk about a healing journey. You get stronger over time. But what I want to come talk to the chosen ones about today is chosen ones. We got to stop lying to ourselves. We lie to ourselves only because we're sensitive. We're sensitive. We're emotional. We are forgiving. We are. We're just so many things, but it's mostly we are sensitive. We are sensitive, and sometimes our sensitivity, our ability to pick up on people's emotions, our ability to feel, get us caught up because we're not feeling from a healed place. Come on now. We're not feeling from a healed place. And sometimes what we do is we take on responsibility and we take on the blame that is not ours. We take on the responsibility and the blame that is not ours. We let people project their foolishness onto us. But that's not what I wanted to come talk about. What I wanted to come talk about is we got to stop lying to ourselves. We got to stop accepting, right? We got to stop accepting the foolery from people and what we feel when they are around us. We got to stop accepting this foolery because we're so understanding. We try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And this is why I say that we can feel this stuff, but we're not feeling from a healed place because we know well that we feel that people don't care for us. We feel that people don't love us. I don't care who it is. You know if that person who you're with, you know if that person really love you or care for you. But we sit in this foolishness for so long thinking, having this toxic hope, thinking they're going to change and see us for who we are. No, that's foolishness. That's foolishness. We are lying to ourselves. You know your in-laws don't like you. You know that. You don't have to reason. You don't have to reason. You don't have to come up with anything else. You just know as a chosen one. You just know as a chosen one. And you got to stop lying to yourself. You got to stop putting these people in a false narrative in your head. Maybe it's just me. No, it's not you. It's not you. You know these people hate your guts. You know how you feel when these people come around. But because of the title that they carry, oh, that's my in-law. Oh, that's my mother-in-law. Oh, that's my father-in-law. That's my sister-in-law. The titles mess us up as chosen ones. That's my child. Some of y'all look at what's going on in the world right now. Some of y'all children will unalive y'all. You trust them too much because that's my child. I'm gonna speak on it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna speak on it. I'm gonna speak right on it. So these people y'all sleep with, you get up every day with this toxic hope. These people ready to unalive some of y'all, and y'all know it. You can feel it. You. If that thought crossed your head that this person will unalive you, you best believe it's in their heart. They thought about it. You best believe they don't thought about it. I told y'all about the story with my cousin. My cousin was in the military. He said he's afraid of his son. He believed his son will do something to him. And don't you know his son unalived him? So don't tell me as a chosen one, you're going to sit there and believe the lie. You know how these people make you feel. You're not crazy. You just got to heal so you can believe yourself. You have all this self-doubt. You have all this self-doubt because of the level of abuse you've experienced, the gaslighting you have experienced. You've been gaslit. You've been gaslit so much it's hard for you to make decisions. Some of y'all don't even know how to make simple decisions because of the abuse was so painful. It was so long. You've been through it so long. That's why I say you have to heal. And that's why when God put me on my rest, I went on this a rest for 2 months. I couldn't do anything. When I open back up my coaching sessions, I have to be ready for this type of stuff because people need to understand. Hey, Dwayne, people need to understand what they're dealing with. People need to understand what they're dealing with. Some of you all know that these people don't care for y'all. Some of y'all know that these people, and when I say as a chosen one, when I say don't lie to yourself, don't sit and pretend that you don't feel what you feel. You may be in self-doubt because you've been abused, but don't sit and ignore what you feel because the chosen one always knows. I don't care if you have experienced abuse. You just lost the faith to believe in yourself because you've been abused so much. But don't sit and ignore what you feel. I know you don't want to believe that these people want to harm you. You don't want to believe that they thought about harming you. Because best believe if those people have lied on you, they will harm you. You best believe that. We have to stop being so understanding as chosen ones. You're too understanding. You're too understanding. You don't want to believe because your auntie, your sibling, my boyfriend, bae, my husband. My child, you don't want to believe it. But as a chosen one, you got to cover yourself, not only cover yourself, but cover yourself in prayer. You got to make sure you tap in to the Holy Spirit for real, so He can reveal certain things to you. Because certain things can only be revealed to you by way of the Holy Spirit. I mean, the true things that you can stand on. And many people don't want to believe that. Many people don't want to believe that. We so afraid to cut people off. Why, as a chosen one? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, chosen one. Why would you subject yourself around? You subject yourself to be around someone where you're not free to be who you are. Come on now, you got to think about this stuff. This is foolishness that we take ourselves through. Come on now, I did it for years. I did it for years, and I no longer. I won't do that. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to ever do that again. I don't give a care now. People should have caught me when I cared. There was a time when I cared about what people thought about me. There was a time where I wanted to keep everybody around me calm and safe. This is not the time you want to be around me now. This is not the time you want to be around me, the awakened version of me, because I'm going to say things that's going to hurt your feelings. I'm going to call things out that you thought I wasn't going to say anything about. I'm going to speak to them demons in you now. Before, I used to be quiet about it. I'm going to speak to that hate up in you. I'm going to speak to that jealousy in you. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to rebuke it right there on the spot. I surely am. That's not what we can do. Now, you should have caught me when I cared, when I allowed people to lie on me and I didn't say nothing, when I allowed people to come around me knowing they hate me, but because I wanted to keep the peace. And guess what? The people still lied on me. Look, I'm trying to keep the peace. I'm trying to be the peacemaker, and they still lied. But you best believe those people are not in my territory. They don't even. I don't even let them be in my presence. Being in my presence is a gift. I don't even want them around me. I don't want them. I don't even want them breathing the same air I'm breathing. And I don't say that with arrogance, because it's the nature of things. People are so wicked and evil. They will have the audacity to be planning and plotting against you and still want to be up under you. This is how wicked people are. And you got to be able to discern this stuff. But we ignore it because that's mama. Mama wouldn't do that to me. Oh, yes, mama would do that to you. That child that you change them diapers. You don't change them pissy diapers. Poop. And they peeing all over you. You don't think that child, yes, that child will do things to you. Yes, they will. We got to stop. This is not the time. And this time, let me tell you. And see, this is not everybody's story. This is what you got to understand. What I'm talking about is not for everybody. Some people come hear this and they'll say, this lady done lost her mind. They'll tell me I've lost my mind because they haven't experienced this. Only the chosen ones go through this type of the behavior. We go through this type of stuff because people want to take us out of here. People want to take us out of here. And they haven't experienced this type of dysfunction on the magnitude that we have as chosen ones. And this is not the time, what I was going to say, this is not the time to be keeping people in your life based on the title that they hold in your life. Mom, dad, siblings, auntie, grandmother. It's not the time to keep them around based on titles. This is the time you test people that by their spirit. You got to test people by their spirit. You know your grandmother wicked. You know all she do is keep up strife. You know all she do is put the siblings against each other, put the children and the grandkids against each other, put certain ones on the pedestal. This is not the time. That's my family. That's I got to, you got to beat up for your family. Family. No, that's dysfunction. That's dysfunction and it's evil. We got to understand this is evil stuff that we're dealing with in this time. And I'm not saying you just go around cutting everybody off. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you got to test people's spirit. You judge people by their spirit. And unfortunately, you got people out here who are in high positions, who got titles, who got this and that, and their spirit is wicked. Yes, Dwayne, it is. And that's how the enemy gets us. The enemy knows that the chosen one's heart, that's what I said in the beginning. The enemy knows that our heart is so pure and we want to get along with everyone. We want that family unit. I've always grew up wanting that family unit. You know, wanting my kids and my family, my siblings, and everybody to get along like one happy family. But these people let jealousy get into them. They let evil get into them for no reason at all. They don't know how to communicate to resolve issues. They live their life based on assumptions. They live their life based on assumptions. They're assuming because I feel this way instead of communicating, because communicating would dispel lies. Communicating will silence the enemy. Communication will silence the enemy. It will resolve issues that are misleading or misunderstood when you communicate. I'm sure Pretty Purpose, that's where it starts. And that's another thing. Families could be so misleading. A lot of us got witches in our family. A lot of us got grandmothers who are witches, aunties who are witches. We don't want to talk about it. And they stay up under you. You will never know if you're not spiritually sensitive. If you're not spiritually sensitive, you're not being led by the Holy Spirit, you will never know because they go to church every Sunday. They be praising, throwing up hands, and when they get home, they throwing, you know, they throwing listen, they throwing spells. I'm telling y'all, this stuff is real. And so many families are suffering, so many children, your grandchildren, siblings, a lot of people are struggling because of these type of people in the family. Exactly. And so you got to be careful too with social media. Social media is the playground for a lot of these witches, especially in your family. They come by, watch your page, they hear what you're saying, getting offended by what you're saying, thinking you're talking about them, and sometimes you are talking about them, but because they feel they're called out. Don't say I'm calling you out. God calling you out. And it does, Betsy, it hurts, but you got to learn how to get some tough skin. This is not the time to be, spiritually sensitive. We're in a time of war, whether y'all want to believe it or not. We in a time of war. And what did the word say? Your enemies was going to come from your own household. That means your family and your physical household, people who are living with you. So you got to be ready for this. You can't be letting your guard down. You don't want to seem like you're a loony either, but that's why you got to be led by the spirit. Because the enemy is busy. He is busy. He's getting, and if he can't get outside people, he's gonna come and use the people in your household. Because he know your heart is you got love for these people. And if he can't get the outside forces, he can't get your boss to do it, he gonna come to your household. He can't get your in-laws to do it. Guess what? He gonna come in that house. But you got to be aware of this, and you got to be prayed up. Exactly. He's not keeping us silent in this moment because our silence is a disservice to people. Because some of us have been through hell and back. We don't ran to pure hell and don't came back 3 or 4 times. And we're sitting here ashamed, not talking about our stories, not telling people what we experienced. Because if we share our testimony, there's people out there that can relate to us. The enemy want us to live in shame. I'm not gonna live in shame. I've never been a person to live in shame. I've had some regret, but to live in shame, I wasn't one of those people. I wasn't one. He dealt with me in a young age, not to live in shame. He dealt with me in a young age because shame is what the enemy likes to use to keep you silent. But when you overcome that and you be bold, and say, you know what? Yes, that's my past. Yes, I've done that. I've been through that. I'm not ashamed of that. Yes, that happened to me. Yes, I have that. I'm not going to be ashamed. May regret it, but you can get over regret. Shame is what keeps you silent. But this is not the time for the chosen ones to be shamed. That's why the enemy gonna start running from y'all too. The enemy is going to start running from y'all. Y'all don't not have, you don't have to run from the enemy. You don't have to run from the enemy. The enemy's gonna start running from you because he's gonna feel that boldness that's rising up in you. You're gonna have people that's gonna avoid you on purpose because they know that you're not weak how you used to be. They know that there is something that has arose up in you. There is a righteous indignation, a righteous power that has risen up in you, and you're gonna confront that spirit. That demons don't like to be confronted. Demons don't like to be confronted. That's why when people get in deliverance, if you ever saw a person get deliverance and they manifest in spirits, them spirits run, they talk, and they do all kind of stuff because they don't like to be called out. They don't like it, and that's why God separated some of y'all from y'all family. It's not that you're going to go and be like, being having an attitude, a sister girl's attitude. It's not that you're going to do that. But what God is doing, He's giving you the strength and He's giving you boldness. He's pulling you from around your family so you can get strength. Because some of you guys can't gain strength because you're with your family and they're making you weak because you're with them. You're weak because you're in the same energy they're in. That's why some of y'all have been isolated. So He can raise you all up to be bold. So you can speak on things that people are sweeping under the rug. So you can pray about things that people are scared to address. So you can call out those sins and spirits and curses. Oh yes, He is. Yes, He is. Yes, He is. Call out them liars that been lying on you for years and let them know to their face that's a lie. You're lying. You just couldn't have your way. You just couldn't have your way in my life. But now you want to lie. The devil is a lie. That's your fault. No, you put the responsibility back on them. Oh yes, you let them know that's them. That's on you. Yes, you gotta let them know that's on you. Because the enemy wants to keep you silent, wants you ashamed, wants you ashamed. Mm-hmm. Yes, want you all ashamed, afraid to speak up, afraid to tell your story, afraid to tell what happened to you. In due season, you're gonna have to release your story. When you're healed, you're not going to do this from a bitter place. You're going to do it from a place of teaching, in a place of love, where you're telling their story, but people are getting healed from it. People are waking up. People are waking up, and people are understanding what they were dealing with. Yes, yes, chosen ones. So I had to come second time today. I don't walk today, exercise. I just want to be outside. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I just want to be in nature. And I had to come and walk again, but I got that message, and I had to come deliver that message to the chosen ones. Yes, I had to deliver that message because we are lying to ourselves. We got to stop ignoring what we're feeling, how people are treating us. People are showing you how they feel about you. They're showing you how they feel about you. You got to believe that. You don't sit there and let people make you feel like you are trash or you're not valuable while you still try to run behind them and get them to see that you are valuable. No, as chosen ones, we let our feelings take over us. We let our feelings get the best of us because we haven't dealt with issues that we had we haven't dealt and addressed issues that we've dealt with in our that happened to us in our childhood. I mean, we haven't dealt with our childhood experiences. Yes, You have to deal with it. You deal with it. And we don't want to deal with it. We run from it. Half of you all are codependent. Codependency is not something that is not something that's healthy. You don't need to be codependent. You need to be independent. You should be able to live without people. Don't make people the only person you should be codependent on and dependent on is Jesus Christ. If you're not codependent or dependent on him, you need to heal. Something is going on. Something is going on. Yes, I just wanted to come and talk to you all about that. I want to come talk to you all about that. Yeah, that's why I had to come give that message so I can continue my walk. But I had to come, release that message right there. I had to release it because I was walking. I'm like, you know what? It just downloaded in me. Boop, just dropped. I have another message from earlier, but this one I just went live with. But we have to stop lying to ourselves. People who make us feel a certain way, that's projection. That's number one. That's projection too. But you don't want to be with no one. Look how crazy is this? Listen now. Look, chosen one. We got to break this stuff down. Let's break this stuff down. You're in a relationship, a marriage, any type of friendship, workship, spaceship, any kind of ship, a cruise ship. I'm just being hilarious here, but you get my point. You're in a relationship, a marriage, any type of ship, and in that relationship, there is no unity, there is no oneness, there is no, you're always feeling inadequate. You're always feeling like whatever you do is not enough. That is not healthy. You're always trying to prove yourself. Nothing is never enough for that person. Nothing is never enough for your mama. No matter what you do, you living her life and she's still not happy. You doing what she wants you to do and you're still not happy. Nothing, and when I say this, I'm not telling you to leave your relationship. I'm not telling you to divorce. I'm not telling you none of that. But nothing you do for that man, nothing you do for that woman is never enough. There is no true feeling of love. There is no true feeling of connection. You're always feeling like you're in competition. You're always feeling like you got to prove your love. That is not healthy. You're in an abusive situation. You're in an abusive situation. You don't look happy. You look stale in the face. Your eyes so dry because you're not happy. You just look like you got a blank stare. You're just existing. There is no unity. There is no unity. There is no happiness, no joy. You don't even enjoy being with the person. It's like a routine. It's like a routine. You come home and this person will try to convince you that everybody have problems in their relationships. Oh yes, everybody got problems. But you shouldn't feel like you shouldn't feel like you don't want to be with this person. You shouldn't feel this person don't love you. You shouldn't feel like 1 minute you want to be there and 1 minute you don't. That's not love. You're being abused in some type of way. If you feel like the love is up and down, you're being abused. You may not know it because in your head, that's how it's always been. This is why I talk about this is why I talk about healing. Yes, this is why I talk about healing, because when you're not healed and you haven't dealt with those childhood issues, you get into these trauma bonded relationships and you think a trauma bond is love. You don't know what love is, dear. You don't know what love is. You think you know because the person is doing things for you. Y'all pay bills. You pay, no, that's not love. You're taking care of the house. You're taking care of the children, but you got no connection. You got no unity. You don't feel like you a part of that person's life. It's always feeling like you always got to prove yourself. Oh yeah, y'all better wake up. That's not love. You've joined yourself to dysfunction. You join yourself to dysfunction. You're improving yourself, but that person's not improving themselves. They can go talk to everybody about you, but not to you. You're trying to see how you can become better to change, but there's nothing wrong with them. They're perfect in their little eyes. Them and their little dysfunction, their little demonic behavior, they're so perfect. But for you, you need to change. You're the crazy one. Yes, Megan, and I agree. And you know what? I don't disagree with that, Megan. I don't go against people. At first I had this thinking, but I when I matured and I grew, when I grew up, if a person gets married before it's time, I believe that marriage still can last and be healthy. I honestly believe that. You know why? If two people are willing to do the work, two people are willing to heal, work on their childhood issues, submit themselves to God, if they didn't do it God's way, I know that relationship can work. I know relationships can work. I believe in relationships being restored. I don't put anything behind, or I believe God can do all things. I believe it. But it's when a person don't see their faults and it's always the other person's fault. Okay? When it's always the other person's fault and the other person is always crazy, they always the one jacked up, you know? Hello. They're always the one jacked up. It's never what it's always the blame is always on you. It's always the projection. You're always the issue. It's always you. And you sitting there thinking it's you until you wake up. None, Megan, no accountability. Tripolar, bipolar, quadruple polar, all them type of polars. But they're and you will become like that if you stay there. If you stay in that relationship, you will become like that. You would be all those things. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. But once you realize, and this is what I said, that's why healing is important, because once you learn who you are, polar bear, everything else, Jacqueline, polar bear. Once you learn who you are and you learn who you are in Christ, you hear me? When you wake up to who you are and you know you are a chosen one, when you find out you are chosen and you are created in God's image, and there's nothing that nobody could say and nobody could do to make you feel less than, that's a person that is dangerous right there. That's a dangerous person. That's a dangerous chosen one. I'm telling y'all, when you wake up and you know who you are, because see, that's what the devil does. The devil send these people in your life so you don't know who you are. That's why some of y'all think y'all are nobodies. You think you don't have no power. You think nobody else don't want you. You think you can't be loved. You think you don't have no gifts. You think you don't have no talent. But the devil is a liar. You think you can't do good without certain people in your life. The devil is a liar. You got to know who you are. You got to get out of that situation so you can heal. So you can heal and so you can get your power back. So you can get your power back. You were somebody before you got with this person. You were somebody before them. Better recognize you were somebody before you got with them. You were somebody. You got to know who you were before you got in that relationship. Some of y'all got to reflect and go back. You can't go back because you've been abused so much. You can't even reflect on your life. Some of y'all, if you get away for 3 days, you get away from 3 days, you go on a 3 day fast and you get away from that situation. You leave if you can. Go get away for 3 days. In 3 days, you will see. 3 days, you will see that you should have been left that situation. You should have been got out of that situation. And I know it's hard for some of y'all. I know it's not easy, but you got to pray and ask God to give you a way out. He'll give you a way out. He'll give you a way out. He will give you a way out. Some of y'all are so afraid. You got fear. These people don't impart it. Their fear into you. They making you feel like you can't do it without them. No, they can't do it without you. You the chosen one. You the one got the favor. Okay, you may have to lose everything. Don't be afraid to lose everything. God will restore you back what you've lost. You got to believe He'll give you double for your trouble. He'll give you double for your trouble. You got to believe that and do what He tells you to do. Don't worry about what nobody else thinks. Don't worry about what they say. When God started ordering my steps, I didn't consult with nobody. I didn't ask nobody nothing. I didn't get no advice from nobody because I know, for me, I know what I was hearing from God. Sometimes you got to just do things. It's just you and God. You don't need nobody's advice because people don't understand what you're going through. They don't understand what you've been through. And then people going and instill doubt in you. You sure you want to do that? You sure you want to do that? We in some difficult times now. Times are hard. Sometimes you got to stay in the situation. The devil is a liar. God will take care of me. Yes, I may have to lose some things. I may not be able to get my nails done. I may not be able to get my hair done. My kids may not be able to get brand new stuff. But I got my peace. I got my peace. That's what y'all got to think about. We be worried about material stuff. You got to get to a place where you'll give it all up. When you at that place where you'll give it all up, God can use you then. He'll be able to correct and do what He needs to do in your life. But until then, you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able. You're not going to be able to. You're not willing. See, it takes some bold faith. It takes some strong faith to trust God that He's going to provide for you. I had made plenty decrees, and this is why I don't subscribe to the world's way. Let me tell you something. I don't subscribe to the world's way. I declare that I'm part of God's kingdom, and His kingdom is not of this world. So when the world is in the recession, I'm not in the recession. I don't believe that. I believe God can open doors, and He has shown me plenty of times. He's shown me plenty of times because of what I believe, and that's what His Word says. He'll give you according to your faith, what you believe, what you believe. We can't be sitting around here. We can't be sitting around here worried about. We can't be sitting around here worried about what's going on in the world. We got to change our mind. And it is hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard to renew your mind and to think kingdom minded and not worry about what everybody else is saying. Everybody says, oh, we got this going on. It's a recession. It was this, it was that. We had a recession back in another recession. I think it was back in 2015. This when my faith really increased. Back in 2015, let me tell you how bold I was. And this is when I start really trusting God. 2015, we was going through recession. Y'all remember that? We were going through recession. I had just graduated. I had graduated from graduate school 2014. I had been on my job for a while, and I knew I wanted something um, more challenging. I just knew it was time for a change. And I know in my spirit, the God I serve, He gave me that unction and the urge to leave my job, to resign from my job. And that's what I did. I resigned from my job. I had people to say I was crazy. I wouldn't do that if I were you. What else? Girl, what are you thinking about? And see, if you listen to people, you will never do what God is calling you to do. This is why you can't be telling people what you're doing, what you're about to do, what you want to do. You can't tell people this because people who lack faith, they will talk you out of what God is telling you to do. And then you're going to be operating in disobedience. You're going to be operating in disobedience. But anyways, I left that job and it was 3 months before I found another job. It took me 3 months, but during that time, I was able to take a class and I was getting information on how to land the job that I wanted and how to get the job that I wanted. Long story short, it was like 2.5 months. I ended up getting the job that I wanted. I experienced something on that too, but I ended up getting the job that paid well. And then, I mean, it was like a $10,000 increase a year than what I was making before, right? But I was like, that's the power of God. We got to believe God. We got to believe God. And then through that job, I gained so much experience as far as leadership and management. I gained so much experience. But if I would have stayed where I was, listening to people, I wouldn't have gained that experience. I wouldn't be where I am. Because of me listening to God, I know how to manage people. I managed the office of 20. It was a small group, but I managed the office of 20 successfully and had no prior experience in management, but because my faith and my confidence, okay, I was able to land that job and the people trusted me with that job and I was able to do what I needed to do. That's why you can't talk to everybody and tell everybody because people don't have the same faith you have. They don't have the same faith. And then some people get jealous and mad at you because you have faith, because you're bold in your faith and you trust in the God you say you serve. People will get mad at you. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. So we got to be careful as a chosen one. We got to be careful. It's still dark out here. I done made it home. So I just want to come and share that with you all. But we have to be, as chosen ones, it's a forever, we will be forever learning and growing and healing. We will be forever learning, growing, and healing. This is a lifestyle. Healing is a lifestyle now. It's a lifestyle. We got to just trust God. When we pray for something, we got to let God lead us and train us and guide us, not people. People are fearful. You see how fearful people are in this world? People are fearful. They're not walking by faith. And if they're not walking by faith, you're not going to be walking by faith. They want you to walk by fear. And fear is a sin. I don't know what Bible y'all read. Fear is a sin. Fear is a sin. They're fearful. The fearful are the ones who don't really believe in God. You don't believe in God. I'm not going to fear. That's one thing I'm not going to do. I fight that. Me fighting and overcoming fear is a lifestyle for me too. Me overcoming fear is a lifestyle. Healing is a lifestyle now. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So what I do, I be obedient. And how you know God is telling you to do something? It's in your, you can feel it in your spirit. Not only can you feel it in your spirit, He's going to tell you to do things that He knows you can't do, and you're gonna have to depend on Him to do it. That's when you know if it's of God. Me leaving my job, me leaving the job with benefits, to having no job, to trust Him that He'll send me another job. That ain't nothing that I know I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to do that on my own. I would not be able to do that on my own. Yes, Megan, I'm not gonna subject myself to fear. If I feel like God is telling me to do, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it boldly, and I'm working on it. And see, when you've been abused and when you've been in abusive situations, and you don't been gaslit, and people try to get you to self doubt, and you don't know up from down sometimes when people don't, you know, made you question yourself, made you question your reality, putting stuff in your mouth you didn't say, but they're so convincing, they have you questioning yourself. When you don't been through that, you won't have no other choice but to trust and depend on God. You got to depend on God. The enemy want to keep you confused. He wants to keep you confused. That's why he send these different people in your life to do all these crazy things to you, say all this crazy stuff. That's why as a child, most of y'all still can remember words your mama said, your daddy said, people saying you're dumb, you're stupid, you don't know. You still got to fight those words because those were spells and curses that they spoke over you. So you got to be able to, you got to get past that. You got to fight that, and you fight the negativity by speaking positivity over you, by speaking the word of God over you. You got to speak what God says about you, and you got to believe it. Yes, you'll do it. She reigns. It takes time, and that's the thing. Stop putting the time limit on your healing. Stop putting the time limit on increasing and building your faith. It's a faith walk. It's not a faith stop. You walk, and when you walk, you keep going. When it's a healing journey. A journey takes time. It's not a healing sprint. It's a journey because you got to unlearn stuff. Just imagine you've been taught a certain way all your life. Now you in your 50s, 60s. You got to unlearn all that. You got to unlearn the projection that people don't put on you. Yes, you got to unlearn this stuff. It don't happen overnight. And that's what we have to remember. And there will be different people and different things that you read that will help you unlearn some of the stuff that you need to. That's what happened to me. God sent me destiny helpers, sent different people to speak into my life, sent me to read different books. I read different books. I'm always reading books on people, how they overcame and what they've been through, to get where they are, different things like that. I like those type of, you know, those stories. Overcoming. I like those stories. And all of us have a story. If you don't have a story, you're gonna get one. Just keep waiting. Just keep living. Keep living. You're gonna get one. But anyways, y'all, let me get in here, get in the house. Thank you all for stopping by to talk to me. And I made it home. So let me get myself together and let me get in here before the bugs go to. Yes, Angela. Oh yeah. And when you have that, see, I don't know if any of you all know. I had an awakening that happened to me in 2020. I'm not going to share the whole story, but I talked about it on a video, um, a few videos back. If you go back, I talked about the awakening I had, and I know it was something of God. I know it was spiritual, but everything that I believed in was shaken. It was changed. It was changed. So my whole perspective on the world is different. Everything is different for me. Oh, it was hard to come to that conclusion and understanding. Um, so I keep looking back. I keep looking back when I'm getting ready to get in the house. Um, although I had to come to the realization that things were um, different, and the realization that what I thought wasn't. And I started seeing God in a different light. I don't see God how I saw Him before my awakening. I don't see Him that way. I don't see God in this religious type person in the sky type God. I see God in a different way. I see God in a way that it feels like I know He's with me. He's with me wherever I go. He's in everything that I see. He's not in just one place. He's not behind the four walls of the church. He's everywhere now. He's in, he's everywhere. It's almost like, remember that scripture that says, in the last days God is going to pour out His Spirit upon all men. I see Him in all men. I do. He didn't say the ones that are doing right. He said all men, mankind. Hello. And I see Him in mankind. Everybody, anybody could say something. How you doing? Good, good. She's good. I see Him in everything. My experience is different with Him. Everything is just different. Everything is different. I don't see family the same anymore. I don't see family as blood anymore. I don't. I don't see that as family anymore. I see family as more spiritual. People who are on the same journey and the same path, who wants to be with you, who wants to be in alignment with you. That's who I see as family. I don't see family as because we're blood, you're my family, but you hate my guts. That's not family to me. And family doesn't mean that you have to believe God how I do. I don't see family like that either. I don't see family like that either. It's just a different experience. I just see it from a whole different experience. It seems so awkward. I can't really explain it. Like it's just so different. It's just different. Yes, Ruby, it's just different. I can't really explain it. One day we'll probably sit down and have some Zoom chats with the chosen one. And listen, y'all, in August, listen, I'm gonna be full force in August. I'm gonna be full force. My coaching sessions are going to open back up. I feel like God is releasing me. I've been on a 2 month hiatus as far as I couldn't even work. And you're like, y'all, how she made money? Why she ain't working 2 months? How she's doing it? Just know it's the Lord. Just know it's the Lord. But I feel like He's releasing me. I had to do some things to get certain things in order. But I feel like He's releasing me to open back up my, coaching sessions for my business. Um, there'll be books and all kind of things I'm working on. Yeah, just know that he's really been having me He really sat me down for a little bit to move me forward. So just know that I'll be coming full force in August. I mean, working hard. I know he's going to give me the strength and the wisdom. He's going to give me the knowledge and the time on top of, making sure, my family's okay. My son in middle school, I definitely got to stay on top of that. I definitely got to stay on top of that. Just, I'm asking God just to give me guidance, just to the um give me the strength that I need and the time, help me to manage my time. We have to be a good steward of our time. Good steward of everything, really, but definitely our time. So that's what I'm working on right there. Being a good steward. But good night, you all. It was nice talking to you all, okay? Good night. I'll talk to you all later. Be blessed.